I bought the Freeworld monitor because at least on paper it seemed perfect for my use case with the Nikon Z9. But I ran into a couple of deal breakers, which is why I ended up buying the Atomos Shinobi, and I'm going to point out those deal breakers in this video. There's not going to be a full review of the Freeworld because there's already plenty of excellent reviews on YouTube. I'm just pointing out things that those reviews perhaps didn't point out, maybe because those things are quite specific to the Z9 or any other camera that records in or outputs 10-bit from its HDMI output. So the first deal breaker with the Freeworld is the fact that it does not accept the signal from the Nikon Z9 when recording NRAW or ProRes RAW at 24, 25 or 30 FPS. Now the Z9 outputs a 1080p signal whenever RAW recording is enabled, so the resolution is definitely not the problem. But when you switch the Z9 to either 50, 60, 100, 120 FPS, then the problem goes away. So my guess is that the output switches from 10-bit to 8-bit on the Z9 when going to the higher frame rates. And that is why the Freeworld will then accept the signal. Whereas the Shinobi accepts 10-bit signal, no problem. So that is not, you're not going to have that problem. I don't have the problem with the Freeworld if I record in H.264 or in normal ProRes, but if I switch to ProRes RAW or to NRAW, then 24, 25 and 30 FPS will have this issue. The way you can work around it is by switching the HDMI output of the Z9 to 720p or to 1080 interlaced. But both of those, of course, degrade the image quality that you will see on the monitor, so they're not ideal choices. Now, the second deal breaker with the Freeworld is the fact that LUTs affect the scopes. And in fact, the GODOX monitors I've also tried, and they have the exact same problem, which is why I ended up going with the Shinobi instead of one of the GODOX monitors. So let me demonstrate what I mean. So now as I turn the LUTs on and off, you will see that the scopes are affected. The waveform changes whenever I turn the LUT on and off. And I don't know what madness has led to this choice for Freeworld and also for the GODOX monitors, because the LUT is only for preview. It is only to see a more saturated and more contrasty image, to help with composing, to help with pulling focus, and also to show to the client. I don't need the scopes to tell me whether my preview image is clipping or not. I don't care if it's clipping or not. I only need the scopes to tell me what's happening with the raw data, not with the preview image. So I don't know what madness led to that. So that is the second deal breaker, and that means that the otherwise very nice scopes on the Freeworld, in fact I prefer the scopes on the Freeworld. As you can see, the RGB parade on the Freeworld is color coded, whereas the same RGB parade on the Shinobi is black and white. Now it's not a big deal to remember the order, RGB, red, green, blue, but it's still nice to have the color coding that you have on the Freeworld. Now on the Atomos, turning the LUT on and off has no effect on the scopes. That is how it should be. And it's absolutely insane that LUTs affect the scopes. Like I said, also the GODOX monitors do this. I don't understand why. It makes no sense. I need the scopes to tell me whether my raw data is clipping or not, and in general what is happening with my raw data. I don't care. I don't care if my preview image is clipping or not. Why would I care? It's only for preview. It's not the thing that I'm recording. So yeah. As you can see, the Freeworld is also quite a bit dimmer than the Shinobi. The Freeworld is 450 nits, where the Shinobi is 1000 nits. I would say that, of course, indoors, no problem with either. But outdoors on a cloudy day, like it is right now, the Freeworld is barely bright enough. It's right on the limit of being bright enough. Whereas on a sunny day, when the sun comes out a little bit, that's when the Shinobi is barely bright enough. Now, if the things that I mentioned are not deal breakers for you, then the Freeworld has a lot going for it. First of all, it accepts USB-C input for power, which is awesome because then it means that you don't need to put a heavy battery on your otherwise super light monitor. It's just that the USB port is in a very funny place. I would have preferred if it was on this side, because as you can see, the L bracket actually blocks the USB cable. Again, I don't know what kind of insanity led to this choice. Probably the same kind of thinking that led to having the LUTs affect the waveforms. I also really like the accessories that are included with the Freeworld. You get this mounting L bracket for the monitor, which is awesome. I prefer this kind of mounting style over the swivel that just mounts to the bottom of the monitor. The Shinobi has no accessories included other than the NPF battery eliminator, which allows you to plug it into AC power. And with the Freeworld, you also get this soft case, which is very nice. You get a sun hood that attaches with Velcro around the monitor, and you've also got 2 HDMI cables, although those are micro HDMI or something like that. So Sony shooters might enjoy those, but to me they're completely useless. You also get a USB-A to C adapter so that you can import LUTs with a little memory stick. On the Shinobi, you use an SD card to import LUTs. Both work fine, no problems with either. Now, the sales rep in the shop where I bought the Freeworld actually told me that this is a weak point for the Freeworld, that they've had issues with this part breaking. As you can see, there's going to be quite a lot of leverage if you get an impact on the monitor at this end, then this part is quite stressed. And it is not very solidly built. But again, for the price, you don't expect a lot. And I wasn't expecting a lot. I was willing to live with the lower brightness, with the lower build quality, but I cannot live with the fact that it doesn't work properly with all frame rates with NRAW, and the scopes are affected by the LUTs. Even for its low price, even for all the included accessories, it is not worth it to me. So I had to get another monitor. I did look at the GODOX monitors and they looked very nice, but they have the same problem with the scopes being affected by the LUTs. So in the end, I had no other choice but the Shinobi, and I mean, it is a fantastic monitor. It is much brighter than the Freeworld, much better built, and it has a touchscreen, which is nice. So I hope you found that informative, and thanks for watching.